gosh, look at the crowd.
Come this way.
Those who spread goodness radiate happiness to everyone around them. Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
Welcome to Lmd Newsweek. I'm Ashwini Vethakan. We begin with a look at the COVID-19 situation in the island. As of this week, the total number of COVID-19 infected patients in the island currently stands at 56,076, with the number of recoveries reaching 47,984, and the total number of deaths now stands at 276. On Tuesday, 9 of 943 in Parliament tested positive for COVID-19. All staff members in Parliament and a number of MPs were subjected to PCR tests, after 3 MPs tested positive for the virus. However, none of the newly identified patients are parliamentarians. Among them are 5 parliamentary staffers and 4 from the security division. Sri Lanka has submitted documents to obtain COVID-19 vaccines from India, the National Medicines Regulatory Authority said. India began the process of distributing COVID-19 vaccines free of charge among 6 neighbouring states under its Vaccine Maitri program on Wednesday. On Tuesday, the Indian High Commission in Colombo said Sri Lanka is among the countries yet to grant regulatory clearance to import the vaccine. In other news, whilst blaming Health Ministry officials for providing a false picture of the COVID-19 situation to politicians, the Public Health Inspectors Union on Wednesday warned of a considerable spike in COVID-19 cases in the coming weeks. And now for a roundup of local news. 4 new appeal courts are to be established to expedite the hearing of appeals made against the imprisonment of prisoners, the State Ministry of Prison Management and Rehabilitation said. It was also discussed to mitigate the sentence of prisoners sentenced to death and life imprisonment after 1998, except for the large-scale drug traffickers. Accordingly, the death sentence for prisoners except for large-scale drug traffickers who have been sentenced after 1998 would be commuted to life imprisonment under a special presidential pardon. Meanwhile, a total of 3,448 state or private premises were observed adhering to the health guidelines issued in the Gazette notification. Authorities are to institute legal action against administration officers or persons in charge of 668 private and state institutions in the Western Province for not maintaining their premises in accordance with health guidelines and biosecurity protocols issued to prevent the COVID-19 spread. And finally, Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan is scheduled to arrive in Sri Lanka on February 23rd on a brief bilateral visit. The visit, which has been overdue for some time, will take place under the travel bubble concept introduced to facilitate high-profile engagements. This is the first visit since the country's last Prime Minister visited Sri Lanka back in January 2016. Moving on to business news. Renewed buying by investors saw the Colombo Stock Exchange produce a strong late rally on Wednesday, helping the benchmark index close on the up after having dipped by 1.7% earlier on, in a development reinforcing new resilience. As part of its effort to fast-track incomplete projects, the government restarted a $100 million mixed development project titled Destiny, which aims to see 300 apartments completed by the year end. A $1.5 billion fresh currency swap arrangement that is being worked out with the People's Bank of China could be just 2 weeks away from finalization, while another swap with India for $300 million is awaiting India's Finance Ministry nod, an official of the central bank states. Furthermore, on a positive note, amid severe impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic, Sri Lanka's merchandise exports remains at $9.9 billion in 2020 compared to the revised forecast of $9.5 billion. And now for a roundup of global news. As of this week, the total number of global COVID-19 infected patients has surpassed 98 million, with the number of recoveries reaching 70 million, and the total number of deaths now stands a little over 2 million. Alibaba Group founder Jack Ma has made his first appearance since Chinese regulators cracked down on his business empire. His absence had fueled speculation over his whereabouts amid increasing official scrutiny of his businesses. The billionaire met 100 rural teachers in China via a video meeting on Wednesday, according to local government media. Oil prices fell on Thursday after data showed US crude stocks unexpectedly rose last week, reigniting worries about pandemic restrictions cutting into fuel demand. US crude oil inventories rose by 2.6 million barrels in the week to January 15th, according to data from the American Petroleum Institute, an industry group. In a more positive note, Kamala Harris has made American history as the first female, first black, and first Asian American US Vice President. She was sworn in just before Joe Biden took the oath of office to become the 46th US President. Wrapping things up, we look at the world of sport. Paul Pogba scored a superb winner as Manchester United reclaimed top spot in the Premier League by coming from behind for a club record equalling away win at Fulham. Wales have recalled Ospreys back row Dan Lydate for the 2021 Six Nations. Lydate last played international rugby when winning his 64th Wales cap against Australia in 2018. That's all the news we have for you this week. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you for watching and stay safe.